promised to deliver the boots after a fortnight. Fortnight, a period of 15 days. He, it seemed, used to dream of boots. Once the narrator complained that his last pair of boots creaked. Jesler was shocked to hear it because never anyone complained it. He agreed to repair or replace them. On another occasion, the narrator entered Jesler's shop. He was wearing a pair of shoes bought at a large firm. Jesler told that those were not his boots. He put a finger on the place where the left boot was not comfortable. He spoke bitterly that big firms made poor quality boots. He also spoke about the hard times of his trade. His own business was going down. The narrator was so deeply moved that he ordered many pairs. For 2 years, he couldn't go to Jesler's shop. When he came to Jesler's shop next time, he came to know that Jesler's elder brother had died. He again ordered for many pairs of boots. He was also upset to see Mr. Jesler, who seemed to have grown older by 15 years. And he again ordered for many pairs of boots. Soon he went abroad. Student, do you know abroad? As the foreign country. When he returned his country after 8 years, he went to Jesler's shop again to thank him for the new boots which he had parceled him. But he found that the name of the shop was wrong. It had been taken over by some Englishmen. The poor fellow died of slow starvation. Do you know starvation? Starvation? Hunger. His business failed for he took a long time to supply the order. He never made any advertisement. Do you know advertisement in TV, in newspaper? We can see so many advertisements. He used the best leather. He never gave himself time to eat. He was a character who made really good hats. So students, I think you are able to understand this story and also know about the quality of the shoes. Mr. Jesler maintained the quality of the shoes whether he died of starvation. So students, I think you are able to understand the story. Thank you students. I don't think so. It may not happen. At that he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boots, and I felt sorry. I had mentioned this grave thing. Grave means serious. Send them back, he said. I will look at them. If it is giving the problem, then send them. Send that pair of shoes and I will look them. Some boots, some boots, he continued, are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill. After that, I would, if it would be repaired, then write, otherwise I will return your money. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my shoes." And after that, he observed very carefully the boots, and he said that these are not the boots made by me. The tone was not of anger, not of sorrow, nor even of contempt. That sound was not of any complaint. He put his hand down and pressed the finger on the place where the left foot was not quite comfortable, and he said that this place is not comfortable. It hurts you are, he said. Those big firms. Oh, no self-respect. And he started to curse the big firm, and then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long bitterly. It was the only time I have heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trades, hardships, problems. And now it is the first time when he started to discuss about his profession, trade. They get it all, he said. They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us who love our boots. Now he started to curse the big firms that they give big advertisement and their work is useless and they have taken our boots. Presently I have no work. Every year it gets less. You will see. And now every year it gets less. And looking at his nice face, I saw things I had never noticed before, bitter things and bitter struggle, and what a lot of gray hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. And there are so many gray hairs in his beard, and he noticed bitterly. Bitterly means harshly. He discussed the struggle about the trade. As best I could, I explained the circumstances. Circumstances, situations. Illumined means unlucky. I explained the circumstances of those illumined boots, but his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next I ordered many pairs. Now, when he saw his face at that time, the writer ordered many pairs of shoes. They lasted longer than ever. They were very durable, and he was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. After 2 years, he again visits him. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time it appeared to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. And at that time he met with his it appeared to be his elder brother. Well, Mr. Jesna, I said, how are you? He came close and peered. Peered looked at me. I am pretty well, he said slowly, but my elder brother is died. Now he informed me that his elder brother died, and I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and when. And never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, oh, I am sorry. Now the writer felt sorry when he knew that his brother is died. Yes, he answered. He was a good man, he made a good boot, but he is dead. He was a perfect artist and made good boot, and he touched the top of his head where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother to indicate, I suppose, the cause of death. Do you want any boots? And he held up the leather in it is a beautiful piece. Now he asked if he wanted some other boots. I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were still then ever. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went abroad. After that he had ordered for many pairs, and taking them he went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London, and the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came to one of 75, pinched and worn, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. At that time he did not recognize me. Do you want any boot? He said. I can make them quickly. It is a slack time. Slack time. It is a slack time, tough time, not busy. Do you, I answered, please, I want boots all around every kind. I want every kind of food. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. One by one I tried them on in shape and fit, in finish and quality. They were the best he had ever made. I flew downstairs, wrote a check and posted it at once with my own. After that, he paid the money by check and took all the shoes. A week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go and tell them how splendidly the new boots fitted, but when I came to where his shop had been me, his name was gone. I went in very much disturbed. In that shop that at that time there was a young man with an English face. Mr. Jessler in? I said, no sir. He said, no, but he can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. Now he said that we have taken that shop. Yes, but Mr. Jessler, what happened with him? He answered that, but I only received those boots from his last Wednesday week. So students, I think you are able to understand this story. Okay, thank you.